This is not an ego thing, but I am Rush Limbaugh. I am Rush Limbaugh, sitting in the prestigious Attila the Hun chair.
When I say opening day, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is daytime baseball, sneaking a radio to school with an earphone, hoping to be able to get the signal inside the prison atmosphere of the school, and wondering what the weather is like wherever the game is going to be played, and wishing I could be there instead of where I was.
One of your functions when you worked for the Kansas City Royals was to make sure that there was a ball on the mound for the ceremonial first pitch, and you forgot that ball one night.
I was so nervous about doing this. I was so my first time, I wanted to make sure that I pleased the owner, pleased the management, did not make a fool of myself, that I neglected to get a baseball to take out with me. Comes time to throw the pitch, I introduce the catcher, I introduce the pitcher, and I say, okay, Tom, let her fly. And Tom said, I don't have a ball. I'm sitting there, 40,000 people, there is no ball. It's obvious there's no ball because I've said let her fly, and the guy's standing there. So I got one of two choices. I can run to the dugout and get one, in which case I don't think I would ever get back, knowing the sense of humor that exists in baseball locker rooms. So I just went to the microphone. I said, would somebody in the dugout please throw me a ball? Every baseball in the dugout. I mean, there must have been 100 of them, Dan. Bags came out, empty bags. Bats were thrown. I just happened to lean down and get one of the baseballs. We threw the pitch. Unknown to me, while all this is going on, the Olathenite committee behind me had scattered chasing all these balls.
Would you say you're more like Howard Cosell in your business, or more like Dick Vitale?
Probably closer to Cosell. And another thing about Howard Cosell, he totally revolutionized the sportscasting business. He was the first guy to actually tell management what he was going to do rather than waiting for them to tell him what to do. And I admired him for that.
Can you recall the career of Rush the Toe Limbaugh?
I wanted to be popular. I mean, that's really what it was about. And I didn't want to actually play the game. I just wanted to kick. And I could kick. I was a straight-on kicker. Rush the toe, and I could kick. I could kick them higher than anybody. I could kick them farther. But that was back before the days of specialists. In fact, I don't even know if they have specialists to this day in high school. And they made me an offensive tackle. And I went through the motions of that. I dreaded every day because I just didn't like practice. But I got in one game against Carbondale, big enemy from Illinois. And we needed to kick an extra point to put us out of field goal, or put the other team out of field goal range. The other team would have needed to score a touchdown in order to win the game. And I made that extra point the only time I ever appeared in a game. And gosh, it was exhilarating. I mean, it really was. It was exciting. But the lesson was nobody cared. I tell you, it wasn't until long time after I quit playing football that I really regretted not liking it then. Because now it consumes me. I mean, it's my hobby. I absolutely love it. And if everybody has a Walter Mitty dream, I would love to play in an NFL game. Just one play, just to see what it's like.
Is there somebody that you would say, I, as a sports fan, would be in awe?
Yeah. Okay, there'd probably be more than one. I'd be in awe of Chuck Noll. I've never met him. I'd be in awe of Bradshaw. I mean, I've wanted to go by CBS NFL Today, and now I don't have the chance because they lost it. And the only reason I didn't go is because I really didn't know that I could deal with meeting Bradshaw, because you don't want to meet somebody and be a bumblehead. Of course, Bradshaw probably wouldn't know the difference if I was a bumblehead. We never know what lurks behind these blinking lights, and it's always fun to find out.
What's the one thing about the NFL that bothers you?
I have a tough time understanding a company, the National Football League, which does not make its best product available to all customers. I don't understand why this is. For example, it's December, and you've got the New York Jets, maybe 5-11, 5-10. They're playing the hapless Indianapolis Colts, who are maybe 2-12. And it's the last game of the season. And down in Dallas, you got the 49ers and Cowboys, and it has title game implications. And the people in New York, the #1 market, have to watch a worthless, hapless, irrelevant game. It really has nothing to do with my favorite team, the Steelers. It has to do with, why can't I watch the best game every week? Why can't I choose which game I want to watch? So I got to sit there and take what it's really frustrating from a consumer standpoint. So what I do, I go to the game of my choice. I actually get in an airplane and go there now. And the NFL price says, see, we're winning. we're winning. You're buying a ticket, you fool. ESPN folks are in the hood.
The Florida State Seminoles win the national title, but it took a long time for them to get that call from the White House for a visit. Did you have anything to do with that call?
When I read that the Florida State Seminoles had not been invited to the White House, I said, well, why not? What the hell? Everybody else goes. And I looked around. I found that Charlie Ward, why, he comes from a two-parent family, not exactly Clinton style. I mean, he's a Christian. I mean, he's got family values and so forth. And Bobby Bowden voted for Bush. I said, maybe it's political. So we happened to mention this on the air, and that made one of the local Florida papers. And I'm not kidding. It wasn't 2 weeks after that they got an invitation to go, long after the end of the season. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it. Mental floss for the brain.
How do you think President Clinton has ingratiated himself into the sports world?
I find it strange that any president has credibility with sports. They can't be a fan, number one. If Clinton's, taking a risk by expressing support for his favorite team from Arkansas, look what happens to him. He goes out there and gets booed. I like to think it's not because he's for Arkansas, but just because of his policies. But it's probably because he's being booed by everybody who's not a fan of Arkansas.